It's December 18, 2020, and Jonathan and I have decided that in the new year we're going to start trying for a baby, which is so exciting for me. I've been wanting this for a really long time, but Jonathan's kind of reined me in and made sure that our life is like on track and in order before we start trying. So I've been teaching for a couple of years now, but Jonathan's been studying this year and he's just landed himself a job that actually earns more than I'm earning. But yeah, we're now in a really good financial position. We're also in our own place. Like, we don't own this place, but at least, you know, we're not living with other people anymore. So we're in our own place. We're financially stable. So this is the time. So first order of business, today I'm going to go and see if I can buy some folic acid tablets, because apparently you're supposed to start taking those a month or at least a month before you start trying. And we're definitely going to be trying within the next month, so I need to go find some and start taking them. I'm excited to take you along on this journey, even though you're not going to see it for who knows how long, but I'm so excited. It's December 24th, 2020, Christmas Eve, and tonight I'm taking my pill for the last time. It doesn't mean I'll be able to get pregnant straight away, because when you come off the pill, the first 7 days, it could just be like you're taking the sugar pills, because you don't have to take those. So for 7 days, my body will just assume that I'm on my sugar pills, which means I'll have my withdrawal bleed. But then after a week, who knows what will happen. For some people, they're fertile straight away and they're able to get pregnant. For other people, it takes a few cycles for their body to ovulate again and to get back to normal. So we'll just wait and see what happens with me, but I'm so excited. This is going to be the first time in 10 years that I've not taken the pill. I've literally been on it since I was 15 and I'm now 26. So, oh my gosh, 11 years. It's the 6th of February. I've been off the pill for over a month now and I did get my period, which is awesome because it tells me that my body has, like, my cycle started again. My body's kind of doing what it's meant to do. So although it means that I obviously didn't get pregnant in the first month of trying, I'm really happy that I have my period, because I'm like, yes, that means it's all working. Hopefully that means it's just a matter of time. So I have my fingers crossed for this month. This was my first natural period in over 10 years. And I know this is not like totally related to getting pregnant, but I thought it might be interesting because I know lots of people share their journeys of like coming off the pill and what the difference is between being on the pill and not on the pill. So I thought I would just mention quite briefly what differences I've noticed. Lots of people say they break out when they come off the pill. My skin looks exactly the same as it did before, but I mean, my skin was fine before I went on the pill as well, so that didn't really ever change. But my period was totally different. Before I went on the pill, I used to have really heavy periods and they would last 10 days. And then on the pill, they were a bit lighter, they only lasted 5 days. So this being my first natural period in a really long time, I was expecting it to go back to being 10 days long and really heavy. It was heavier than when I'm on the pill, so that was like normal, but it didn't last the full 10 days. It only lasted 7 days, which is great because I hate having a period for 10 days. It wasn't as painful as it was when I was on the pill. On the pill, I got really bad headaches for the entire time I was on my period, so for 5 straight days. I didn't get a single headache this time, which was amazing. My cramps were quite bad on the pill as well for the first 2 or 3 days. I got like a tiny bit of cramping with this period, but they weren't painful. They only lasted a few seconds and it only happened a couple of times. So the pain level was like so much better. But I did get very sore boobs, which has never happened while I've been on the pill. Possibly used to happen before I was on it. I don't remember it being something that used to happen, but definitely not something I'm used to. And that lasted, I think it started before my period started. It was like a couple of days before, and then the first day that I was on my period, really, really sensitive. So that's a new one for me. But yeah, overall, I would say much less pain than I've been used to for the last 10 years. I did buy a couple of packets of ovulation tests. I told myself I wasn't going to. I was just going to kind of wait it out and like let the time frame do its own thing. But I just got really like curious to know whether my cycle had started. This is obviously before I got my period. So I got some ovulation tests. Went through 2 packets, never got a positive. But I looked online and it said actually some people, when they ovulate, the hormone doesn't rise enough for an ovulation test to pick up on it. So considering my period came like pretty much exactly when it was meant to, I reckon I probably did ovulate, and maybe I'm just one of those people whose hormones don't rise enough. So this month I'm trying BBT, or body basal temperature, to try and see when I might ovulate. So I got a little thermometer. I've been taking my temperature every morning before I get out of bed. So now I have a baseline. I know what my temperature is usually. And then apparently when you see it rise, by the time you see it rise, I think that means you've already ovulated. So I'm not using it as a warning because it doesn't tell you until after it's already happened, but I'm just doing it for my own interest, my own curiosity, and just to make sure that I am actually ovulating. So fingers crossed that I at least ovulate this month. But yeah, signs are looking good. It's the 25th of February. I'm still currently on my second cycle, but I'm coming towards the end of my second cycle. So I've been trying to chart my BBT, or my basal body temperature, all of this cycle. I started last cycle, so I've been doing it all of this cycle. So it's supposed to dip like just before you ovulate and then rise after you ovulate and stay up. I actually forgot to take my temperature one morning, and I think it was possibly the day that I ovulated, the day it would have dipped, because the next day it was up. It was like higher than it had been the whole month, and since then it has been higher. So I'm taking that as a positive sign, but also I got sick earlier in the week, which was like almost exactly when my temperature rose. So it could also just be because I got a cold. So I don't have any definitive answers from charting my BBT, unfortunately. But yesterday I was getting some spotting. So yesterday was day 26 of my cycle. I'm still spotting. Today is day 27 of my cycle. And I looked it up, and this would be about the right time for implantation bleeding, which apparently happens to a third of women. Like a third of women notice it around this time as like a very early pregnancy symptom. So of course it could also be nothing, but the timing lines up. It lines up with when I think I ovulated. It lines up with where I should be in my cycle. Like everything lines up. If I end up pregnant this cycle, then I'll know that it was implantation bleeding. At the moment I am excited. I'm trying not to be excited because it literally could be nothing. I have been known to spot for just no reason at all. Oh my gosh. Imagine if we were pregnant on our second cycle. That would be so cool. Sorry about my wet hair. I've just had a shower, but it's just been a couple of days since I was last on here, so it is February the 27th, I think. It wasn't implantation bleeding, it was my period, which I now know because it's in full swing. I don't think I'm upset that I'm not pregnant. I don't think that's what it is, but I am upset, and I think it's because my period was so much earlier than it was last time. Like last time my cycle was 32 days, and that is like pretty much exactly what I was expecting, because before I was on the pill my periods were about every 31 days, so that was perfect and I was really happy, and I was like, cool, my cycle is on track, it'll be regular. But this time my period came a lot earlier. I think it was like day 25 that I started spotting, which means my actual cycle length was only 24 days, which is so much shorter, and that means that my cycles are not regular, which means my body's not like, well, it's still like fluctuating after coming off the pill. From what I've read, it doesn't mean that I can't get pregnant, it just means it's going to be harder to know if I am pregnant each month, and it's going to be harder to like figure out when I'm ovulating because it won't be at the same time each month. So yeah, I am disappointed that my cycle's not regular. I'm also a bit worried because your BBT is meant to drop just before you get your period, but I'm on like day 3 of my period now and it's still high. Last month as well, it didn't drop until like the second day of my period, I think, but it did drop. Whereas this time it hasn't dropped yet. Like this morning it was still quite high. I don't really know what that means, but I don't think that that's a good sign either, so I'm just disappointed. Yeah. It's the 6th of March, it's cycle number 3 that we've been trying, and Today is the 10th day of my cycle, so hopefully I'll be ovulating in the next week or so. I'm still taking my temperature every morning to try and see if and when I'm ovulating. I think I'm just getting a bit disheartened because like usually in life the things that you want, like, well, for me anyway, once I've decided that I really want something, I do everything I can to make that thing happen as fast as possible. Like if I want to go on an overseas trip, I'll like save up all of the money that I can possibly save to make it happen quickly. So I think I'm just frustrated that there's nothing I can do to make this happen faster. Jonathan's annoyed at me because I'm not being patient and I'm not just enjoying the process.
You're not enjoying life.
I just wish it would happen quickly. Hopefully this cycle.
Hopefully this year.
It's the 17th of March. I'm on day 21 of cycle number 3, and from charting my BBT every morning this cycle, I can tell you there is absolutely no spike, no dip. Like it should have happened by now, especially if my cycle is only 26 days long like last time. It should have happened like over a week ago or about a week ago, and it has been absolutely consistently the same temperature all cycle. So I'm feeling like pretty down about it, to be honest. But what I've done is I have ordered a 50 pack of those like really cheap ovulation tests from Wish. I think it was like $9 for the pack of 50. Because I've heard that the cheap ones are just as reliable as like the expensive ones. So that should hopefully arrive in time for next cycle, and I'm going to test like morning and evening in case I missed it when I tested that first cycle, because I was only testing in the morning, and I also only test, like I thought I would have covered my ovulation window, but possibly I ovulate really early or really late. I'm gonna like expand that window and test like every single day in my next cycle. Maybe not while I'm like on my period, but pretty much every day in my next cycle, and morning and evening, and that way if I am ovulating, I'm gonna catch that ovulation window, hopefully. And I think if it doesn't happen next cycle, I'm gonna call the doctor. I know you're not supposed to call the doctor until it's been like a year of trying, but like if I'm not ovulating, then I'm not even trying, because there is no trying if I'm not ovulating. So I think I'm just gonna call the doctor if it doesn't happen next cycle. It's the 19th of March. It's only been a couple of days since I last spoke to you, but I think that I did ovulate. I think I ovulated later on the day that I spoke to you, because yesterday and today my temperature has been like slightly higher than it has been earlier in the month. Like last month, I think I saw more of a shift. I think it was like 0.2 or 0.3 of a degree. But this month it's literally gone from 36.4 pretty much consistently through the month to 36.5 today and yesterday. So it's like a very tiny shift, but it could mean ovulation. Also, like, I know this is TMI, but like you're watching this video, so you probably are not too worried by it. So cervical mucus. So I'm thinking that possibly it has happened now, but it's not necessarily a good thing that I've ovulated now, because you need to have at least 10 days between ovulation and your next period for like your body to have time to do the things that it needs to do for pregnancy. And if I have a 26-day cycle like I did last time, I don't have, from 2 days ago, I didn't have 10 days left before my period. So we'll wait and see how far away my period is. But if I'm ovulating, because I think that would have been day 21 that I ovulated, which is only like 4 or 5 days before the end of my cycle, which is not long enough. So we'll see. It's the 25th of March. I got my period while I was at work, so I'm pissed off, to be honest. This ended up being a 28-day cycle, so I was kind of hoping it was going to be another 26-day cycle like last time, so that they were the same length. But 28's not too far off, so I think I could consider that a consistent cycle length, 26 days and then 28 days. So like, I'm fine with the length of my cycle. I just was hoping that I wasn't going to have my period, obviously. But I also think my luteal phase is too short. I can't remember if I talked about this already, but I think I ovulated on day 22, and you need to have 10 days between ovulation and your period in order for your body to have time for like implantation to happen and things like that. So actually I'm not certain about when I ovulated, but if it was day 22, then my luteal phase is too short. So from that sense, it would have been good if my cycle had gone on a bit longer and if my period wasn't for another few days, because then at least it would have meant that my luteal phase was the right length, but then it would have made my cycle irregular. I don't know. I've been annoyed today since my period came because I'm just like, ah. Oh, I did book an appointment though. I found this place that does a free phone consultation with a nurse specifically about like fertility concerns, I guess. So I've booked an appointment for that, a free phone consultation, just to like talk about what's going on for me and whether or not it might be worth booking an actual appointment or getting some tests or something to just find out what's going on. They were very like booked up in advance, so that is not happening until the 22nd of April, which is a whole nother cycle away, but that's fine because by then I'll have like another cycle's worth of information to tell them over the phone. And so I guess until then I'm just going to keep chatting my temperature. I'll start doing the ovulation tests once my pack of 50 arrives, which hopefully will be soon. I'm gonna go and eat some chocolate now. Hello again, it is the 27th of March. It's day 3 of a new cycle. And this update is not to do with pregnancy in particular, but it's just a new period symptom that I've never had before. On the night of the first day of my period, just a couple of days ago, I threw up like 3 times. I was just in the shower brushing my teeth. I noticed last month on my period, I felt a little bit sick as well. Not all the time, it mostly was just like when I had to try and take my pill, the Elevit that I'm taking. I had a really hard time and I couldn't take it for a few days while I was on my period. So I definitely think it's related to my period, but yeah, this time I actually threw up. So that's not fun. That's a symptom that I don't remember having before. I didn't have it while I was on the pill, and I don't remember having it before I went on the pill. So that one's not much fun. I just thought I'd update you on that as well, even though it's nothing to do with pregnancy. I thought you might be interested in my period symptoms changing in case you're like coming off the pill and want to know what might happen. It's the 11th of April. It is day 18 of my cycle number 4. I've been trying to stay really positive this cycle. I'm just like telling myself this is the month, like it's gonna be this month, it's gonna happen, I'm gonna get pregnant, I'm not gonna have my period this month. So I mean, we'll just wait and see, won't we? But at least it's more fun than being shitty the whole month, which is what I was like last cycle. What I am annoyed about though is, I don't know if you remember, I ordered that 50 pack of ovulation tests from Wish, which was meant to arrive by like the 3rd of April, which obviously was a week ago. So I was planning on taking those every day or even twice a day, morning and evening, this cycle. And I'm already at day 18, so like it's way too late to be taking ovulation tests this cycle, because I've missed the majority of my cycle already. Like my period's gonna come in 10 days, if it comes. Let's hope that it doesn't. But yeah, I'm hoping they arrive soon, because if I do have a period and I need to try again for another cycle, I really want to be taking ovulation tests. So yeah, that's my little update. There's nothing else really to say, like it's just been all normal so far. I haven't had a temperature spike yet, but going off the pattern, my spike tends to be on like day 21 or 22, so I'm expecting that in a few days. But other than that, everything's just kind of normal at the moment. I've got my phone appointment in a week and a half, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't really know what to expect from that, but at least it'll like get the ball rolling. It's the 16th of April. It is day 23 of cycle number 4. Hello, Evie. Yeah, it's day 23. So, you know, I've been chatting my temperature every morning. This morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock and I could not get back to sleep. So I was awake for like a little over an hour before it was actually time to take my temperature. So I was like lying there awake being like, I know this is going to stuff up my temperature reading. I know it is, but I don't know what else to do because I don't know how to like adjust. You're meant to have 3 solid hours of sleep before you take your temperature at the same time every morning. And sometimes I just can't do that because sometimes I wake up in the 3 hours before I'm meant to take my temperature, which is so annoying that it's so specific to like, it's got to be at the same time, you've got to have slept enough, all that stuff. So anyway, I took my temperature at the right time this morning. It was the highest it's been all month, and I'm like, yeah, of course it is. So that could mean that I ovulated yesterday, or it could mean that I was awake for an hour before I took my temperature. Who knows? So, I'm in 2 minds. I mean, obviously, like, I'm still trying to be hopeful for this month. I'm still like, this is the month, like, it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna have to do this for another month. But if it's not the month, and if I do have to do this again for another month, I'm in 2 minds. And my 2 minds are very extremely different. On one hand, I want to be doing ovulation tests twice a day, every single day through the whole cycle, because I actually want to know when I freaking ovulate. And then on the other hand, I'm like, stuff all of this, like stuff the temperature because it's given me no conclusive data, stuff the chatting, stuff everything because nothing's actually been helpful so far. I'm either not ovulating or my body's just not giving me the right signs. So I'm either like gonna go super hard and test twice a day, or I'm gonna be doing nothing for an entire month. How can I want to do 2 very opposite things? I don't understand myself, honestly. My pack of 50 ovulation tests has not arrived and it's been a month at this point. So if they don't arrive, I'm going to be doing nothing. But if they do arrive, I'm going to be confused because I'm not going to know which thing to do for the month. The other thing that I discovered is that sperm, when it like comes back out of you, can take a day or 2 to do that. And it looks a lot like cervical mucus. So all of the times that I've like charted that I've had fertile looking cervical mucus, it literally could have just been sperm. So I'm just like, there are no signs, there are no helpful signs to tell me whether or not I'm ovulating or I've ovulated. Nothing's helpful. Evie does keep me company though, so it's not all bad. It's the 19th of April, it is cycle day 26, and I've decided to stop taking my temperature in the mornings. I haven't taken it the last couple of days. I know last time we spoke I was undecided if I was going to do full-on testing like as much as I could or just stop testing completely. I think I'm going to go down the completely stop testing route because I think for my mental health I just kind of need to relax about it a bit and just kind of let things be. The reason though that I feel okay about not testing, even though like, the reason I was testing is because I was trying to figure out if I was ovulating. I don't really care when I ovulate, I just wanted to know if I was ovulating. Because otherwise it's kind of like we haven't even started trying yet if I'm not ovulating. But the reason I feel okay about not testing is because every month before my period I get really sore nipples. I've probably mentioned that before, I can't actually remember if I have or not. But the fact that that happens every month at about the same time, and my period's really consistent, I think that means that I am ovulating because PMS is linked to your period, and if you don't ovulate then it's not technically a period. So technically you should only get PMS if you've ovulated. That might not be 100% correct, but I don't care whether or not it's correct because in my mind it is helping me to relax a little bit. It's making me a bit more confident that I'm probably ovulating, and it's allowing me to like let go, and I think that's probably what I need right now, so I'm gonna go with that. That's my little theory. If my nipples hurt every month, it means that I've probably ovulated, so we're going with it. I'm gonna stop taking my temperature in the mornings. I don't even care if the ovulation tests from Wish turn up at this point, like I'm not gonna be taking them, at least for 1 cycle. I mean, obviously I still have my fingers crossed for this cycle. I'm like, oh no, in the next week, I guess. But
if my period comes, I'm just gonna do a cycle where I do nothing and I just see what happens.
It is the 22nd of April. I've got a few things to update you on, so I thought I would just kind of set you up and talk for a bit. The last couple of days have been really hard, actually. I think because we're on school holidays right now, and so I'm just like sitting at home, I've got no work, like I'm just sitting here dwelling on whether or not I might be pregnant. And it's been really hard on my mental state. I know last update, did I say I was happy or I was not happy? Anyway, I feel like I've had, I don't want to call them mood swings because I always think mood swings are like faster, but I've had like, I think the day before yesterday, I was like so down. Just the whole day, I was like, I can't do this, like I can't wait a month between each I mean, like I have no choice, but you know, like in terms of my mental state, I was like, I can't handle this. And then yesterday I was like, no, it's fine, like I'm just gonna watch my TV show and everything's all good. When I'm up, I'm okay, and then when I'm down, I'm like, I'm really down. I haven't actually cried yet, but you know, I don't cry a lot usually, and I can feel very down without crying, so and then where are we at today? So today is day 29 of my cycle, and last cycle, this is the day I got my period. So I'm like kind of thinking that it's gonna be regular again and it's gonna be today. And then I'm like, I really hope that it doesn't come because then tomorrow I can take a pregnancy test. I mean, obviously like a couple of cycles ago, it was a 32-day cycle, so not getting my period today means nothing. It might just mean that I have a longer cycle this time. But after saying that I was not gonna like test early, I was always gonna wait until I missed my period to like save money and all that, this time I'm like, I just want to know. And I've been like this for like 2 days now. I'm like, I just want to go and get the first response test, which can tell you like 6 days before you miss your period. I'm like, I just want to go and get that. I want to take it. I want to know. And I've like managed to hold off for the last couple of days, hence the mood swings, I think. But I kept telling myself like, okay, last cycle, your period came on day 29. So, and it came around lunchtime. So I'm like, if I can get to lunchtime today, which is day 29, and there's no sign of my period, I can go out and buy a first response pregnancy test. Not to take today, because my period might still come this afternoon, but to take tomorrow morning. So I'm like, it's 8 o'clock right now in the morning. So I'm like, if I can get through 4 more hours with no period, I'm gonna go buy a pregnancy test. I want to be excited. I really want to be excited, but I don't want to get completely crushed. I think it's gonna happen anyway. Like, as much as I can try not to be super excited, I know that if that test says no, I'm gonna be crushed. Or if I get my period today, I'm gonna be crushed. But at the same time, like, imagine if it's positive. Imagine if it's positive. In other news, I also have my phone appointment today. They're gonna call at some point between 10 and 2:30. So I've thought of 2 main things that I want to like raise with them. They're not questions exactly, but they're concerns of mine. Like the first one being, I don't know if I'm ovulating, and the second one being, if I am ovulating, I don't know if my luteal phase is long enough. So those are the 2 things that I'm gonna like try and bring up with them today and just see what they say. We're also having our kitchen renovated right now, so, which is why I'm filming this so early before the people get here. If I take a pregnancy test and they're here, I'm not gonna take a pregnancy test while they're here, let's be real. We have no kitchen at the moment, so we've had takeaways like twice for dinner in the last 3 days, I think. Yeah, I think it was last night and then 2 days before that. And then I've been out for brunch like also twice in the last few days. So we're not eating a lot of home cooked meals. I'm eating a lot of processed foods, and I'm like, well, that's probably making me feel worse as well. And also like if I am pregnant, that's really bad for the baby. Aww. I'm working myself into a state here, and it's only been 4 cycles, 4 months of trying. I just so badly want it to be this month. I want to be pregnant. if I'm pregnant now, I could announce it on Mother's Day, which is in like 3 weeks. Well, not announce it to everyone, but I could tell Jonathan's family, like his mum and his dad, for Mother's Day, I could like get her something that says grandma. Cross your fingers for me. It's still the same day. It is 2:30 in the afternoon. I had my phone consultation. There was a lot of like reassuring me that I'm like doing the right thing. Everything's like on track. Obviously she can't tell me for sure whether or not I'm ovulating or ovulating at the right time. But she recommended that I give it another couple of months, and then she said I absolutely can go to a doctor before it's been a year. She said she reckons I should go in a couple of months if that's going to help me feel better, and ask for a blood test to confirm that my hormones are at the right levels. So yeah, that did make me feel a bit better, because like if I'm not pregnant this month, I've got like an action plan. Anyway, my period hasn't started yet, so I did go out and buy my first pregnancy tests. I haven't taken one yet. So I got the first response because you can take those early. And this also has 7 tests. I don't know why it says 6 plus 1. Like you get a bonus one for free. Like there's just 7 of them in here. I was gonna wait until tomorrow morning, but now I'm like, there are 7 of them. I can take one now, take another one tomorrow morning. Like what's the harm? I don't know. I don't need to pee right now. I don't think I could. You have to pee on it for 5 seconds. I don't think I can pee for 5 seconds right now because it's not that long since I went to the bathroom. But I'm gonna drink some water. Maybe in an hour or so I'll take this test. I'm gonna take it. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Time is going. Got another couple of minutes to wait. I don't even know if it'll work because like my pee's gonna be so diluted because I just sculled a glass of water like an hour ago. I'm gonna have to test again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I think. You know, first morning pee and all that is meant to be the best. But, we're halfway there. My heart is racing so fast. I'm gonna be shattered if it says no. A few more seconds. It's time. Oh, I don't even want to look. Oh, that's definitely just the one line. Oh, damn it. Well, I've now officially had my first cry. Jonathan came home from work and I just kind of lost it. I just wish I knew how long this was gonna take. My period still hasn't come, so I might still do another test in the morning, see if I get a different result. Hey, it's the next day, so it hasn't been that long, so it's the 23rd of April. Cycle day 30 because my period still hasn't started. I didn't end up testing this morning again, but if my period doesn't start by tomorrow morning, I probably will take another one tomorrow. I'm feeling a bit better today, a bit calmer and like more settled in my mental state, but I do have a theory about why my period hasn't started yet, and that is because I was so worried that my luteal phase was too short. I looked up like what makes it too short or like how to make it longer, and the internet recommended vitamin C. So I have been taking vitamin C tablets this entire cycle. So potentially, if that's worked, if my ovulation is still like at the same time that it was in the previous cycles, but the vitamin C is doing its job, then yeah, that would extend my cycles a little bit longer so that my luteal phase was long enough. So that could be a reason why my period hasn't come yet. But I will definitely update you if I do end up taking another test tomorrow. It's the 24th of April, it's cycle day 31 because my period still didn't come. I took a pregnancy test this morning. I didn't film it because Jonathan was like right here, but there was like the faintest line. I think I'm pregnant. But we're trying to hold off. It was so faint, seriously, like so faint. So we're gonna take another test tomorrow morning and see if there's still a line. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Now I'm just like, how do I get through today when I'm so excited and I just so want to know? Yeah, I'll know for sure tomorrow morning. It's the next day. I took another pregnancy test this morning and there's definitely a line. I'm pregnant! Oh my God. I'm so happy. It's been literally the only thing that I've talked to Jonathan about for the last 24 hours. I'm so excited. So I'm not even like signed up with a doctor at the moment, so I need to. I've been looking at doctors in the area and they've all got really bad reviews, so I'm just like trying to find a doctor's place. I can't sign up for anything today anyway because it's Sunday and then tomorrow's a public holiday, so can't do anything till Tuesday, but that's alright. We had a look at the list of midwives this morning and we picked, I mean, there's a few that I've like taken a screenshot of, but I've sent a text to one of them, so I'm waiting to hear back from her as well. Oh, do you know what's super funny? So yesterday when I got that like super faint line, yesterday was the day that my pack of 50 ovulation kits from Wish arrived. I just think, I love the irony of that the day that I find out that I'm pregnant would be the day that my ovulation tests arrive. Like, I don't need them now, but yeah. I'm glad I'm on holidays at the moment. I've got one more week left of holiday, so hopefully I'll be able to get to the doctor in the next week and get a blood test before I go back to school, because otherwise I'd have to take time off work to go and do that, but hopefully I can do it while I'm still on holiday because that would be perfect. And I think we are going to end up telling Jonathan's immediate family on Mother's Day, which is in 2 weeks from today. Oh yes, I also downloaded a pregnancy app. I've got the one called What to Expect. I don't know if this is going to be the one that I stick with. It was just one that looked good. I am at 4 weeks and 3 days pregnant and my baby is as big as a poppy seed. That's what the app looks like, and then you can click on those different circles and they'll tell you different things about like the baby's development, my symptoms, that kind of thing. Hello. You're gonna spend the next 8 months with me. So yeah, I'm pregnant. It's the 7th of May, so I had a miscarriage. I'm still having the miscarriage, it's not finished yet. But I think I'm gonna talk about this in a new video because there's quite a lot to say about it, and obviously this means our journey to conception is not finished, so I know this video is long enough, so I'll end it here. It's not the happy ending we were hoping for, but I will talk about the miscarriage in the next video and we'll take it from there.